Hey everyone, my name is Kevin, and I'm here today with Jenny, Vidala, Mirko, and Andy to tell you about the future of smart security, WatchFly. This is my friend Victor. 3 years ago, he and his family went on a vacation, but it ended on a sour note when they came home to find that their house had been robbed. Although the police were able to review the footage, they were ultimately not able to identify the perpetrator. And unfortunately, this isn't an isolated incident. In fact, in 2018, in small suburban areas, 84% of burglaries and 79% of property crimes actually went unsolved. And this is where WatchFly can make a difference. Our mission is to bring safety and security to every community through innovation and technology. I want to emphasize the word every because we want to be providing a service that is both easily accessible and scalable. Part of that means we want to make sure that all the customer has to do is ask us for a security system, and we'll take care of everything else, including installation. And the other part of that is the technology. We want to add machine vision directly onto security cameras, giving them the ability to selectively identify the most important features and save those details in higher resolution. As a result, you upgrade standard footage to look like this. The key components to our technology are this previously described smart compression algorithm, which we'll be developing in-house, and cameras capable of processing machine vision algorithms. We'll be bringing these two halves together by purchasing these cameras and uploading our own software onto them. This technology will help us achieve our goal as it reduces the storage and bandwidth requirements needed to run a smart security system, making it more easily accessible. To be more specific, smart compression means that we can still use high-resolution cameras without raising storage requirements, since only the most important details are actually being saved. Meanwhile, on-camera processing means that we don't actually have to send all the data being recorded to some centralized location for processing and then compression. Everything happens on the camera, thus lowering bandwidth requirements. And with all that said, we're best positioned to serve gated communities as our first target market. They make the ideal customer since they usually don't already have a sophisticated high-resolution network in place already, but still want a better security system than just home cameras. Starting small also gives us the opportunity to test our systems at a small scale and gain reputation before we target harder to penetrate markets such as towns and even cities. Now, I'd like to hand it off to Mirko to talk more about the industry in which our customers reside.
Thank you, Kevin. The industry we're aiming to target is massive. The security system services industry is valued at $27.4 billion, and it's been steadily growing since 2011 with a projected 4.4% increase over the next 5 years. Within this industry, our team has estimated that the market comprised of gated communities is valued at $1.6 billion. This number comes from an estimate of 20,000 gated communities and an average of 4 cameras per gated community. This is a massive opportunity for WatchFly. Now let's look at our industry. We have broken down our industry into 4 different sectors. On the y-axis, we have cameras that serve public areas, like cities, versus cameras that serve in private areas, like homes and small businesses. The important feature to note is that the cameras that serve public areas requires large installations. Like in cities, they require thousands of cameras to work together. This means that there are very strict bandwidth and storage limitations for each camera. Well, this probably doesn't happen, for example, in a private home with only a few cameras. On the x-axis, we have the traditional versus smart cameras. The traditional cameras have been in the game for a long time and do not have any extraordinary features, while smart cameras have machine learning detection, usually object detection, and live alert systems that make them stand out from traditional cameras. Let's look at the top left section of our industry. We have the traditional and public cameras. This sector is very slow. There are a few large companies that dominate the market, and partnerships already made. They compete using full vertical integration and ancillary services. However, as stated before, their technology is not smart, and they do not compete for our customers. On the bottom right, we have smart and private cameras. In this sector, this is a very fast and unpredictable industry. They're always competing for the newest and smartest technology. However, due to the bandwidth and storage limitations, companies cannot install these cameras in large quantities in cities. And now we come to WatchFly. We position ourselves in the public and smart sector. Even though we initially test out our technology in private areas such as gated community, our technology allows us to not require additional storage, and therefore we can reach our ultimate goal of serving cities, which is a public area. We have advantage over traditional cameras because we have smart features such as recognition and detection. We also have an advantage over smart cameras because we're allowed to deploy our services in public. That means that we can install large amounts of cameras and address a market that is not serviceable by companies like Cogniz. Next, I'll pass it on to Andy, who will discuss the operational logistics of WatchFly.
Thank you, Mirko. We will be offering a full security service for our customers. In particular, this means that we'll be selling cameras, installation service, and maintenance subscriptions. Here's how it works. First, we sell our cameras to our customers through direct sales. I will go into detail about this in a bit. The cameras will be delivered from our warehouses to local security integrators who we subcontract. They will be the ones who determine optimal camera placement and install the cameras for our customers. We will then maintain support through an optional subscription maintenance service where we will replace or fix their camera should anything happen to them. In addition, we will offer free technical support for any issues that could be resolved over the phone. On the manufacturing side of the supply chain, we will be purchasing programmable cameras from large manufacturers such as Samsung. These are high-resolution cameras with hardware components suitable for heavy processing, but lack software to go along with it. We will program these cameras with our software, including our proprietary compression algorithm, and package them for sale. We will be training our machine learning vision software ourselves during the minimum viable product stage of our venture. However, in order to make this detection as accurate as possible, a large set of training data would be required. And that is why we will be outsourcing data labeling and model training to AI software boutiques who have the resources to quickly train machine vision. To acquire customers, WatchFly will be relying mainly on direct sales, as WatchFly's target customer would be gated communities or cities with specific needs. Approaching them with direct sales will allow us to better communicate our service and increase the likelihood of securing a deal. There are many stakeholders in this process, from police to city managers to public interest groups. In particular, early on, we'll be working mainly with the homeowners association within gated communities. They will be our entryway into the larger cities, as these public interest groups have a lot of power within the community. Through direct sales, we can locate the entities who have the buying power for our product and negotiate around regulations to shorten the adoption process. We will also be marketing at trade shows and trade magazines. Trade shows and conferences allow us to both meet and build connections with potential customers and also spread our brand awareness. Examples include the ISC West Trade Show that showcases security products, and the National Sheriff's Association, where officers gather to learn about the latest security equipments. Additionally, trade magazines will serve to further promote our products to a wider audience. Examples of these include the SDO magazine and the Security magazine, which provides information on security equipment and trends. Now I will pass it all to Jenny to speak about our timeline and financials.
Thanks, Andy. So we have arranged our timeline to take full advantage of our initial investment. And that means starting in 2021, we will launch our pilot program. The pilot program is going to be essential for gaining credibility as well as proving the technology on the small scale before we address larger market. During this time, we will use data acquired from our launch program to leverage sales into gated communities. This will be approached using the homeowners associations as stated prior. Selling to these gated communities will allow us to become cash flow positive in 2023, and we'll leverage the connections we have there to then sell our first sale to municipalities in 2024. Getting these larger customers is going to be essential for growing our business. As you can see here, our gross margin grows year over year up to 49% in 2025. That's because we become more efficient with our costs and have a better pricing structure. Now, some of those costs include cameras, equipment, and installation. The installation is the biggest driver of cost. It is highly variable and depends on how many cameras are purchased and who the customer is. However, as we scale up to these larger customers, our costs will decrease per unit dramatically. In order to take advantage of these economies of scale, we have projected the following sales. Starting in 2022 is when we will begin our first sales, and it will increase from there. The big spike comes in 2024 when we reach out and penetrate the municipalities market. This will be huge for us as we are getting these larger sales with the smaller cost per unit. All this is leading to 1,000 cameras sold in 2025 with a revenue of $20 million. In order to make that possible, we are asking for a $1.5 million investment. This money will go towards funding the pilot program that I had talked about initially, as well as providing salaries for our sales team and our engineers. Now, over the next 5 years, we've projected their sales to total $1.65 million, but we only need this funding to fund initially until 2023, when, as I stated before, we become cash flow positive. Now, the way the industry is structured is there are many small players, and companies are either born with the technology, the high-tech focus, or they need to acquire it, because the way the industry is going, technology is going to be an important factor. These are 3 examples of acquisitions that have happened already. Companies made these acquisitions either to acquire the technology or to get the market share. We believe that WatchFly is uniquely positioned to provide that value to any company in the future. We have, using comparable companies, we have estimated our price per earnings ratio to be 35, which yields a terminal value of $100 million in 2025. Now I'd like to pass it off to Vidala to tell you why you should invest today.
Thanks, Jenny. This is a great time to invest in this kind of technological and business innovation. Surveillance cameras with the capability to run object detection on camera have become available only a few months ago. And training data labeling and model training companies have been popping up all over the place. This makes it easier for companies like us to get models running cheaply. Finally, with the rise of 5G, we have the opportunity to move into the cell phone-enabled market, minimizing the data usage of customers both via the 5G savings on speed and bandwidth and our own bandwidth savings. Our team spoke to people deeply embedded across all parts of the security services industry. And through our conversations, we realized that it is widely undervalued opportunity. George Fox, the director of security technology at Penn, said that the greatest innovations he's seen in the industry recently have been at the edge of the network, and that our idea of pushing computation onto cameras is aligned with this. Kyle Feinfrock, the regional sales manager at the leading camera supplier in the industry right now, Hanwha, said that the biggest problem he runs into when consulting with customers is their hopes of having an average quality camera that's able to store footage exactly how they want at a few months at a time. He almost always has to lower the expectations on camera quality to support their storage and bandwidth needs. Shane Meenan, the National Director of Integrated Solutions at Tyco, explains how bandwidth and storage solutions are already a concern for video manufacturers everywhere. He also said that the large distributors who usually sell the technology or the products that the video manufacturers sell only can sell up to 1 to 2 products at a time. And these are usually very fancy interconnected network solutions that are harder to distribute and install, which by definition, our product is going to make it easier for customers to install with regular network solutions. Finally, Martin Renkes, a general manager for Johnson Controls Global Security Cloud Solutions, explains that the industry right now is extremely fragmented. We at WatchFly see this as a sign that the industry is in desperate need for business innovation. Our founders are prepared to drive this innovation. Our backgrounds range across electrical and systems engineering, software and machine learning, and finance. More importantly, we have the grit and drive to make things happen. I hope you join WatchFly in bringing safety and security to every community. Now we'll open up for questions.